Hello, Eskimo Brothers Reviews Episode 10, Predator, 1987. I'm Shadowman0050, Soyboy Beta Cuck 69.
6'9".
Predator, let's see. The basic premise, if you're watching this, you've probably seen Predator. It's pretty popular among Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies. Arnold and his team go in to rescue captives, and it quickly turns into, instead, them being hunted by something they don't know. It basically, I don't know, I mean, it's definitely an action movie, like you would think, Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it almost is equally a horror movie. It's got that aspect of, especially the 80s slasher horrors, where it's a bunch of people and they're getting picked off one by one.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got from it too when it first started. However, I didn't really. I mean, it wasn't like a terrifying film. Like, it wasn't scary. There weren't like jump scares or anything like that. So yeah, it's like a weird thriller, action, strange mix. But it was pretty good.
Yeah, I love the music in it. They do a nice mixture of the classical score and that like fast electronic score to create that sense of tension.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did like the music too. Even like the not like the music they did for film, but like the actual like songs they put in it too.
Yeah.
Like the real songs that weren't written just for the film.
Right.
I thought
Little
were nice.
Richard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of setting the movie up pretty quickly and getting the team into the jungle.
Yeah.
The pacing overall, I think, was really good, because you get a good amount of time with the team, and then you get a good amount of time, spoiler alert, it's the Predator and Arnold at the end.
Yeah.
You get a good amount of time with both setups.
Yeah. And speaking of like the setup of the team, let's see. So yeah, in the beginning, Arnold shows up with his squad, and he's just in some place to figure out like, all right, why are we here? What are we supposed to do? Because they usually just rescue people. So he's like, all right, so what are we doing here? So he shows up there. A couple more people get added to the group, and they set out on their way. And so there was some foreshadowing in that Arnold, shows up and says that, asks what we're doing, and then more people get added to the group, and he's like, well, that's weird. That's not how we usually work.
You'd think he would like figure out what the hell they're doing before he takes him and his men all the way to they never really say where, but it's supposed to be Central America somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, you think you'd figure all that out before you just, let's pack up and go.
Yeah, you could definitely tell. He knew there was trouble from the start. Yeah, like I was saying, they're in this helicopter, and he's asking like who their backup's gonna be, and they're like, yeah, there is no backup. It's just us. Once we cross this border here, and once we drop, it's us, and that's it. No one's gonna save us. So yeah, you could kind of tell, things are gonna start to get bad there. But yeah, in that helicopter, it was interesting. There was the nice upbeat, great music, and there was colorful dialogue from all the guys, and it's a bunch of former military guys who big, strong, alphas, intimidating, and however.
It's a bunch of guys with dumb, thick arms.
Yeah.
They love to show off their arms.
Yeah. I mean, if I looked like that, I would probably do the same thing.
Yeah, with guns like that, I wouldn't wear sleeves.
Yeah. That's why I wear a mask. You gotta show the good features, hide the bad features. Yeah, so it's a bunch of big macho guys, and however, their names. So let's see. We have the main character, Arnold. His name's Dutch, which is it's whatever. But then you have Dylan, Mac, Billy, Blaine, and Poncho. Now,
Hawkins too,
oh yeah, Hawkins, yeah.
but he.
I'd say that's an okay kind of normal just last name. But if any of these guys, like if some guy named Dylan or Billy or Blaine or anything like that came up to me and started talking trash, I wouldn't care. Like, that's not intimidating.
Because of the name.
Yeah. I mean, if a guy named Billy comes up to me and tries to start a fight, I'd laugh it off.
He's Billy Badass.
Yeah, that's even worse. So yeah, they're big, strong, tough guys, but with the worst names.
The Hawkins, the guy who tells the jokes.
Yes.
The dirty jokes. He actually, I believe, was a co-writer on the movie. And
Okay.
that's like, he's not so much an actor. I think he's more of a writer, because I think he did Predator and Lethal Weapon.
No. Hmm.
But
Okay.
yeah, he tells some funny, dirty jokes.
Yeah, well,
His
I mean,
character.
I don't know about being funny.
I thought they were funny. I laughed.
That's right up Shadow Man's alley. It's his style of jokes. I mean, they weren't bad. But, I was pretty excited because, I also watch a lot of, like, survival type shows. And what I did notice was when they eventually did land in this jungle, one of the characters, in order to get water, they took one of these vines and just cut it right in half and just drank water straight from the vine, which is probably one of the best ways to find fresh water in a jungle. So I thought that was pretty nice, and then they used different traps for the predator, and I'm like, oh yeah, those, same ways to trap wild game, when you're hunting. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. So I thought that was a pretty nice aspect of the film, was them showing like real life, like survival type techniques that they probably used previously in their tours and in the jungles.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the camera work.
Yeah, that was next.
What did you think of the that first major action scene, the little hut village?
Yeah, so pretty much Arnold's team is in the jungle to find these people, and so eventually they do find a couple, but they've been captured. So I mean, his job is to try to get his people back from these guerrilla fighters, and it was pretty intense. There were some really nice camera angles and some really nice pyrotechnics and explosions. Like, there was, like, right there. It was you couldn't get any closer than where they were. It was pretty realistic and lifelike, as if you were standing there, attacking this little village, with the team.
It's weird because I have almost the exact opposite opinion on it.
Nice.
I found it to be very disorienting. Like, you'd see a close-up of one of them shooting a gun or throwing a grenade or something, and then you'd see a close-up of a hut exploding or something.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really tell where in this, because when they come up to the hut, or the village or whatever, you can see the little, like, the layout of the place. But then once the action starts, it's like, I don't know where this is going on.
That is true. That was a little wild.
It just seemed like they took random shots of them doing this and then random shots of this happening.
Oh yeah. It
all together.
It was definitely all over the place. So I guess that part of it wasn't that great. There wasn't a whole lot of continuation.
Although in the heat of battle, it probably would be confusing and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just liked how, the way they had like explosions set up, and or when they throw grenades, and just how close it was to the actual camera made it seem lifelike and realistic. So I like that part of it, but I can definitely see the disorienting part, because it was explosions here and then just machine gun fire here, and it was all over the place.
The other thing I really wanted to talk about with the camera was that during that final battle with the Predator, I really liked the lighting. Like it's dark. You can definitely tell it's dark,
Mhm.
but you're never like, I can't see what's going on. You can always tell what's happening, even though you can't see everything.
Yeah, I never really thought of it like that, but yeah, for sure, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause, I mean, there was some.
Sometimes movies are just too dark, or it's unrealistically bright at night. I
Mhm.
thought this had a really good, I don't know, balance
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I could see that. I mean, were there some like fires lit?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's from other explosions. Yeah, there was fires too. So it was a good balance of light.
Yeah, after he does that really cool yell with the torch that he makes, he throws it and lights this big fire.
That was really cool, yeah.
Yeah. He yells to get the predator's attention, and they let it echo for a long time. It's really cool.
He also makes a bow and arrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he winds up one time, and you can see the arrow just goes like this. But then they cut to the other camera, and it's a straight shot. It's one of the worst shots I've ever seen from a bow and arrow, but
I didn't even notice it.
from something that you handmade in a couple hours, probably. I guess that makes sense. But I thought that was pretty funny. I will say, the predator, like, it wasn't really explained. You don't really know what exactly it is. So, like, when they first encounter the predator, it's just kind of something like blurry, camouflaged. So it's like, oh, what is that? And then you're like, okay, so whatever this thing is, like, it has the ability to camouflage itself. And then the next time you see it starts like shooting these lasers or something that are similar to lasers. And you're like, oh, okay, so it's got the camouflage, and the lasers, what else can it do? And you see, it's heat vision, or whatever you would call that. It's like infrared vision. And like the way its sound is, its hearing. And yeah, just little by little with each new encounter, you find new things that this this thing has added to its repertoire. So you don't know how to fight it. At least in the beginning, you're not going to have any ideas because you don't know what it can do.
Yeah.
Another thing that I thought was another thing about that is that you can tell it's some sort of humanoid creature, but for me, like, you couldn't tell if it was like developed in a lab. You didn't know if it was some mutant human. You didn't know if it was an alien. You didn't know if it was like a person with weird, government or army technology that it's using. You can't really tell that. But Shadow Man says if you pay attention to the opening credits.
He went and got a drink during the opening credits, and it shows an alien spaceship jettisoning.
Jettisoning?
Jettisoning. Something off onto the Earth's surface.
Yeah.
And that, that lets you know it's an alien. But I just didn't say anything. And just let him wonder.
I mean, yeah, towards the end you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
But up until then, you're like, oh, what is this? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool costume. He takes his helmet off, you see its actual face.
Yeah.
It's a pretty unique looking thing.
Yeah, and I will say it. That is why I've never seen this movie before, but it's a really good one because of the hybrid between the action, horror, thriller, suspense, whatever, the dialogue, the different characters, and then the actual, like, how different Predator is compared to other, like, previous aliens or creatures or villains in general. It makes it an interesting film.
Yeah. Yeah, unlike other alien movies where it's like a creature kind of thing, this one like has a brain and it's methodical about what it does and doesn't fall for traps every time. Yeah. It sometimes goes around.
Yeah, it's human-like too. So so you can kind of like figure out what it's thinking, and you're like, oh, okay, this is pretty damn smart. And you can, I don't want to say like relate to it, but you can kind of do that.
One thing I really didn't like was right at the end, before the credits, when it shows like all the lead actors and they're like looking at the camera and smiling, doing that. Like, that's a really cheesy.
That is stupid.
I think they did that in Platoon as well. I don't remember, but that must have been an 80s thing.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. And then Arnold was the only one that wasn't like that.
Right, they just took like a shot from the movie or something.
Yeah. But besides that, it was a pretty good film. I liked it.
Yeah, good movie.
I would recommend it to any of those action fans or thriller fans, especially if you like blood and gore and fighting and big muscular men.
Just dumb, thick arms.
Yeah. Sickening.
I think the last little bit I got here is a little piece of trivia. That the original person hired to be in the Predator outfit was a then unknown Jean-Claude Van Damme, who quit after a couple days complaining about how hot it was.
No. I think it was for the best. Because I can't see the Predator doing roundhouse kicks to anyone and then shooting them with a laser. That would not have made it as good. But
That's all I've got.
yeah, same here. So episode 11 is going to be The Prestige. It's a film with Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. I guess.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, let's just say they're both magicians. I'll leave it at that. We're not going to go into any more detail, but it's a really, really good film. Definitely not like The Predator, though. Two different styles. So yeah, we'll see you next time for The Prestige. Thanks, guys.
All right.